Hi everyone, this is Ashwin.
This is Shauna.
And this is Wesley.
Today we are presenting our project report of advanced 3D printed structures and materials.
In this presentation, we will first cover an overview of 3D structures and materials. Secondly, we will discuss the current state of the art, including industry use, materials, and current advances, followed by some predicted future directions that 3D printing will likely follow, and we will conclude the presentation with some recommendations.
A 3D structure is any object that occupies 3 dimensions. A way to model these dimensions is by using a coordinate system. This coordinate system will have an x, y, and z plane. Each of these planes represents a different dimension. 3D printing is a method of making something using additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is when you keep adding more and more material to a small object until it builds up to get your final object. In 3D printing, this is done by layering thin layers of the given material, usually composite, metal, or wood, over and over until you get your desired final piece. These are some common methods of 3D printing. One of the main uses of 3D printing is for prototyping. This is because when compared to traditional methods such as machining, it is extremely cheap and fast, especially if the object you're trying to make requires to be cast and therefore you have to pay for molds. This is also good because it's easy to change. For example, if you were casting and made a mold and then your prototype wasn't what you were expecting, you'd have to scrap those molds and make entirely new ones. Whereas in 3D printing, you can just go on your computer and edit your original design.
There are many industries that currently use 3D printing in multiple projects. The team researched a few of these industries, specifically automotive, architecture and construction, and healthcare. The automotive industry uses 3D printing to easily fabricate prototype parts and molds. The primary aim for using 3D printing is not to manufacture entire printed vehicles, but rather tooling and end-use parts. This significantly reduces design time and helps to find ways to reduce weight and increase strength of finalized parts. For architecture and construction, 3D printing is used to create scale models for much larger projects. This helps with off-site fabrication methods and aids in the coordination of documents and consultants. It helps people visualize the projects that they are doing at a much smaller scale before they create the big ones. In healthcare, 3D printing is currently being used primarily for prosthetics. This significantly helps fabricate complex part geometries that can be tailored to individual recipients' needs. There are currently many materials that can be used when 3D printing products. Some of the main materials being used and developed include composites, metals, and wood. Composites are a material made from 2 or more constituent materials with significantly different physical or chemical properties that when combined produce a material with characteristics different from the individual components. An example of a composite material would be carbon fiber. Metals are created from metal powders made through atomization processes, where a relatively large volume of liquid metal is sheared into smaller liquid particles and then froze to create the powder. Wood material is similar to metal in that it is constructed from very fine granular powders made from wood chips. 3D printing is a continuously advancing art. Right now, some of the advances the team found included multicolor printing, improved metal printing, and advanced printer technologies. Multicolor printing allows for more aesthetically pleasing products and provides opportunity to give rise to more applications of 3D printing. In the beginning, most products that were made by 3D printing could only be made by one color. Metal printing is also advancing as more metals with higher melting points and increased strength are now capable of being printed on current printing technologies. Also, the printer technology itself is rapidly changing as larger scale printers that are capable of fabricating much larger parts are built, and also printers capable of making more intricate geometries are created.
The future developments by the application of 3D printing is a lot. The areas where our group mainly focused was on the scope of 3D printing internal organs and the feasibility of 3D printing on other planets. The rate of organ failures is increasing day by day. Even though there are willing donors, if the 3D printing of internal organs is made possible, it will be a great breakthrough in the future. Further studies should be conducted for making a foreign material to work in human bodies, which is biodegradable and biocompatible. It should also support cell differentiation and proliferation. The other future possibility is 3D printing on other planets. It helps the astronauts not to carry too much items in their space voyage. All they have to do is just 3D print the thing they need. One of the main disadvantages of this process at the present is the large transportation cost. Materials used for 3D printing cannot be transported easily into space. An average of $4,000 to $14,000 is estimated for transporting 1 kilogram of material, which is not an easy task. The materials that is used for 3D printing should satisfy the criteria of cheap availability and low manufacturing cost. As shown in the plot, the widely used materials are metals and composite. It can be clearly predicted that composite materials might outweigh the metals in the near future. This project gave us a chance for exploring a lot about 3D printing and the materials used for 3D printing. The ultimate goal of 3D printing is to reduce cost and time of manufacturing. 3D printing of buildings, organs, automotives can all lead us to development of further developed version of production operations. At the same time, the uses of 3D printing in other areas and the materials that can be used is yet to be discovered. Therefore, it is clear that there is a huge possibility for further developments in 3D printing in future. In conclusion, at the end of the research of 3D printed structures, the team made some recommendations. The biggest recommendation that team encourages is that more research and exploration should be conducted for further development of the existing technology and to determine more applications that 3D printing can be used for. 3D printing is continuously advancing and further possibility of 3D printing has yet to be discovered.
Thank you for your time, and if anyone has any questions, the team will be happy to address them.